One of my friends was talking about working with a life coach, and I have always been a really big life goal oriented person, but I felt like I needed a little bit more. There's been a lot of transition in my life in the last few years, and I used to be a personal trainer and run a gym, and so I always helped and poured into other people, but somewhere along the way in the last few years I kind of lost myself and my story. So she really the way that my friend was describing it made me feel like it was the right route to kind of find myself again and get back on track. 1,000%. Through coaching other people, I learned a lot about myself, but I also felt like I was so self-aware to a point that I didn't really know what steps to take. Like, I knew the things that I was struggling with, but I didn't know what I saw for myself and how to get out of the kind of hole that I was in. It was interesting for me because I feel like I have kind of gone through these identity shifts in my life. Like, I was a special ed teacher, and then I went to manage and run a gym, so that was a complete opposite. And then I started with Special Olympics, and it kind of married my two passions, but my identity was kind of like the girl that works out in the gym and eats really great, and that's awesome, but I had to find my confidence in event planning and showing up for myself so I could show up for these athletes the way that they deserve. And I kind of got lost in the process of when you start something new and you have that imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome basically means that you're a beginner. And so I didn't know how to kind of catalyst through that to become the best I could be for these athletes and the best I could be as a wife and as a friend. And I feel like Mo really helped me drive that. How do I become the better version of myself, and what does that look like? Honestly, every single session kind of went a different way because I thought I was going to go down this route of confidence when it came to body image. Because I used to be really big into helping women find confidence within their bodies. So I felt like I knew all of these tools and I knew what they were, but I just wasn't utilizing them. So we started off our first couple sessions just kind of diving into body image. And then I feel like through all of the breathing exercises and through just having this safe, open space to share what was going through my mind, that I was having this inner critic just constantly beating me up, really helped me. She helped me kind of put things in categories and be like, okay, this is where you're at now, but where do you see yourself, and how can I support you in getting to this level, this next level? I walked away way more confident in myself than I ever imagined. I think that I struggled a lot with this past version of myself that was very confident, and I had lost it along the way the last 2 years. And so I knew that I had that feeling in me, but I just kept putting up all of these barriers, and Mo really helped me be confident in who I was and in every aspect of my life, as a friend, as a wife, and my job. And that was something that I needed that clarity. I needed that safe space to be able to explore those things. And Mo's just so compassionate and kind, and just like your own personal cheerleader, that I couldn't even ask for anything better. 1,000%. When I first started, I was like, I don't feel like I'm this terrible of a person, but I don't know. It was a weird like crossover between I needed to clear the space mentally to be able to become this better version of myself. But I didn't know how to clear the space. And once we started kind of chipping away at those barriers and the struggles that I was trying to fight through, it created all of this space to show up as a better person, show up with confidence, and know that no matter what I do, everything is figure outable, but I'm not alone. And I also feel confident in the tools to be able to kind of push through my limits. I think the biggest change is just how I carry myself. I really dove into friendship, which was something that I really, really struggle with. I grew up in a house that was super loving. My parents are awesome. My mom's a artist and my dad's a musician, and they're just great people. But I always struggled with friends, how to build that relationship with friends. And so I think just showing up and knowing that I have a lot to offer on the friendship side, and I have a lot to offer just as a person. I feel like everybody has their own unique gifts, and Mo really helped me explore those gifts and know that I was a cool person, because I felt like it was in there, but I didn't know how to get it out. I saw a lot of qualities that I see in my parents and my family and how they treat people and the way that Mo treats people. And so I feel like it was way more easier to relate myself to her and the way that she explains things, because it's kind of honestly how my dad explains things. He's very pure and very compassionate and supportive and vulnerable all in one. And I feel like that's a lot how Mo is. One of the most valuable things that she has taught me is using my breath and breathing exercises. We start every session with a breathing exercise and like a body scan. And it's crazy how you can utilize that breath work in order to calm yourself down or get more energy. I always hear about breath work, but I haven't had someone just walk it through. My dad meditates every single morning for like an hour, and I just could never understand what he was doing and I needed someone to walk me through that. Or when he got anxious, he would go do breathing exercises, but I just had never had somebody sit me down and be like, here are tools that you can use. And that has been such a vital tool when it comes to anxiety, or if I'm in the middle of an event, and there's lots of things going on, I can literally go to the bathroom and do a breathing exercise and walk out in a better headspace. And that is something I am so grateful for. Having a safe space is arguably the most important thing to surround yourself with. And I believe, like, I've been in therapy for a long time and all of these things, but I've never walked into a room and had a conversation with somebody that I have felt so vulnerable right off the bat, knowing that I tend to overshare things, and I'm a very emotional person. I'm very sensitive, but she accepted every single part of me, no matter how I showed up, and that just meant so much, because it's a lot easier to talk about your struggles and the things that you kind of keep in a closet when you have somebody there that you feel like is going to show up and not judge you or talk behind your back or use those to their advantage. It was incredible. I think the best thing is that we really focus on the future. She wants to hear about you, but the best thing that I could think of whenever I started the journey was I wanted to set goals. I didn't know what the goals looked like. And that first time where we just had that immediate conversation about who are you, who am I automatically felt like we were a team. And I feel like this process, especially when you are trying to you're just kind of in this gray area, you need somebody that you can depend on, but also as a team, there has to be both sides. You can't walk into it thinking this person's going to fix you or they're going to do everything for you. It is work, but it's so relieving knowing that if you show up the next week and you're like, I still don't understand, or I'm still stuck in this place, she has an open door and she's there to listen. She's not going to keep moving through things if you don't feel like you're ready. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, there's so many things I appreciate about Mo, but the fact is everything's self-paced. So if you don't feel like you can move, my brain is like, I want to work on this week, and I want to work on this week, but she is more than open to be like, I'm stuck on this, and how can we work together as a team? And being into sports and playing college softball, and it was all about teamwork, and teamwork is really big. So I feel like if you are nervous or you don't know what to expect, just know that she has your back, and it's it's not an easy process, but you're going to discover things about yourself that you never thought that you could ever discover. A 1,000%. I actually have a podcast that I run, and I helped started a kind of women's group called the Empowerment Project, and we worked with middle-aged women, and we worked on their confidence, because when you have a client come in that wants to lose weight or wants to get healthier in the gym, it's not just lift these weights and do these exercises. It's where is your mental state? Where is your sleep? Where's your motivation? What are it's a whole process. It's not just one step. You can teach them how to lift weights. You can tell them to walk 10,000 steps a day. But if what's going on the inside isn't matching the outside, then it's not going to be sustainable results. And so I think it's the same way with Mo. I knew that on the outside, I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. But on the inside, I was just like beating myself up of, who am I right now? And I'm in so much unknown, and I don't even know what I'm going to look like in the next stage, but I know that I can't be living in this unknown forever. I feel so much more confident all the time, every day. It's crazy because it is a journey of the tools that she teaches you. She doesn't teach you to just learn and you're good. She teaches you to be able to pull those tools out of your toolbox at any given time, and to continue to rediscover yourself and continue to grow that confidence. I thought I was really focused on body image. I couldn't figure out what was going on with the way that I viewed myself, and it really stemmed from this inner critic that was continuously telling myself that, well, you're not an event planner. Well, you're not this, you're not that, and I couldn't break through to the net to see viewing myself in this positive light if I was only allowing this inner critic that I named Artemis, which is funny. But if that she was constantly tearing me down. 1,000%. And I feel like it has illuminated to everybody around me, and it's also taught me who I wanted to surround myself with, because I call myself a recovering people pleaser, and I do struggle with boundaries, and she has taught me a compassionate way to choose myself without like completely being rude or cutting people off. Like, you have to set those boundaries in order to protect your peace. And she's taught me how to confidently do that without getting really nervous and I'm going to make everybody mad. And I really appreciate that.